Howdy, folks, and welcome to Moose Podcast number 361. I got nothing. How you folks doing? I hope you're having a great week. In fact, I thought it was a phenomenal week because I didn't receive for a long time not a single email from about the podcast, which is amazing. So between Labor Day weekend into summer, kids going back to school, new toys being shipped from Bedford's, all of the above, I figured everybody is having just a marvelous week. But I do appreciate you stopping by and spending a little time with me. I had a heck of a week as well. Again, this broadcast is being recorded by Adobe Podcast Beta. Transcript will be found on the blog post for this podcast. Keep on doing them. Don't see much changing in this week as far as the transcript, but they have done a little more tweaking on the audio, which is really sweet. Hey, next week, in fact, starting next week, wake up. Starting today and then tomorrow and Wednesday is Photoshop World. Yeah, came that fast on me. And I should know better. But anyway, Photoshop World, folks. It's going to be online, but it's going to be really amazing. We've got some really great talent and inspired instructors, as well as you folks out there listening. It just makes it a great venue which to share our craft and our art. I'll be doing two classes, one on AI masking when it comes to lighting, really important stuff. I'll also be doing another class. So you shot an air show. Now what? So hope you sign up, follow the link on the podcast, on the website, on social, join us. The more the merrier. Of course, the more creatives that come together, it just is a better thing. Hey, Bedfords.com. Thanks for continuing to sponsor the Moose Podcast. I know this last week you were shipping out a whole bunch of Z180 to 600 lenses. Yep, they got released. You guys were shipping them. Saw some unboxing videos on social that you guys have sent out. That's Bedford's. They're on top of things. They've got the gear, they've got the prices, got the service, got the know-how. They even got the Moose discount. So head to Bedfords.com, either personally, on the phone, on the web. Tell them Moose sent you. Save yourself some real money. Get great gear, great advice. Thanks, Bedfords.com. Well, I want to get into this week's episode. I got nothing. As in literally, I got nothing. It's nothing personal, nothing wrong. The It was a week where literally I didn't take a single picture other than photographs of Maggie, which are photographs, but they're not like photographs. They're just more memories and her being goofy. But other than picking up the camera every day for my daily hand holding practice, I didn't take a single picture. I didn't even get out to do much birding. In fact, I was kind of stuck at the desk, and I shouldn't say stuck. I'm very fortunate. It was last weekend. I had a week ago Thursday. I did the big air-to-air shoot with the N3N on floats and produced over 20,000 images, and they had to get processed. Then they had to get out to magazines around the globe and articles, and that's time consuming. That's because just so you understand a little bit of the process. Now, while I do uh, literally take photographs, and I'm still in the photo platform flying with SnapBridge, it's really very easy to go right into the card on the Z9 and pick a couple images and just boom, text them to various owner of the plane, pilots, friends. While I'm still up there, because there are always times in the photo mission where, like on recovery, and you're both getting ready to land, you're not shooting, and it takes 5, 7 minutes usually to get in the pattern and down, and that's more than the time to send pictures out. So while I do that, uh, it's not really something that I'm going to send out to like clients. First and foremost is that the camera I have in the settings. I have my name under copyright and also in the IPTC, so it's in both those fields. But it doesn't have my unique file name for that particular image. So for copyright, if it were going to be a problem, and I've had more and more issues in the last couple of years. I guess just prior to the pandemic, it started up. A lot of just too much time dealing with that baloney. And not that it's ever gone not in our favor. It's just like I just what a waste of time. Anyway, respect. Anyway, when it comes to the business, I want that photograph when it goes out to have that unique file name, everything from copyright to invoicing. So all those images get a file name. I first have to put them in Photo Mechanic, and I have to make sure they're sharp, and then I look at them and select the ones that I want to put out there as ones that record the history, tell the story, serves the aircraft and its owner and its legacy. That takes time. It simply takes time. So I went through those images, and I had no one email, but I had a friend I was talking to, and they said, "Well, how many of those 20,000 images actually ended up in the gallery?" So back that a second. So all the nefs go into for simple terms, into a drive. The drive is called photographs, and then in that drive are all these folders, like birds and mammals and aviation. And then there's a subfolder for air to air, and then there's a subfolder for that particular photo mission. Um, all those nefs that I recorded and kept, because if it's out of focus, it's gone, right? I mean, I don't care if a computer can fix it, and it's getting closer it can. Uh, that I can't do that. It's just not. It's just I'm too old fashioned, I guess. Looking up the definition of photograph and photography reminded me, again, why I do this. But but of those that get filed as nefs, only a small portion actually meet the criteria of, like I just mentioned, talking about the history, serve the client, serve the story, the legacy of the aircraft, the story of the whole event. So when I finish all those images and I then put them on another drive called gallery, and that drive has all my finished images. Ones that are going to go out to clients, I'm going to print, I'm going to share with folks. Ones that I look at are memories. I'm talking about that's the question that he asked. So of that 20,000 images, only 5% actually were finished and went on the drives. But that 5% still takes time. You have to go through, for at least for me, go through that entire process. So that ate up a bunch of my week. And often when I am doing that, I'm taking pictures. I am going through them. Thoughts come to me. Sometimes funny ones, sometimes silly ones, sometimes or a lot of times business ones. Something an opportunity that just came to me. So there's always a notepad and pen with me during this process, if not multiple. And one of the thoughts that often comes is, what do I want to talk about on the podcast the coming week? And I do have a list that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 topics on it. But yeah, none of those topics really spoke to me today. Nothing during the editing of all those photographs really said, "Oh, here's something I want to talk about that might help you." And then coupled with my week of doing that was, again, taking care of the clients on that particular story. It was historic. Right now it's 8 magazines that are going to have photographs, news briefs, and articles. So that's a lot of images to send out by hightail and get out to folks. Along with that, I'm working and producing the two new classes for Photoshop World, as in totally new, new images, new everything, new content, completely new image, new classes. That takes time. Going through files, organizing my thoughts, putting them in Keynote, seeing what's new with Keynote since last time I used it, and Mulvia, which I use for doing my DD do's. So all of that was going through, and it's just like, okay, still nothing came. And it reminded me, that's the only thing that all this whole process reminded me is my mind was going through that. Even yesterday, I was sharing one of this rock path that goes to the right from we have one that goes left, one goes right from the door up to her garden. Especially with winter coming, it's easier to just to shovel a path. So that meant gathering up all these big ass flat rocks, and then figuring out laying out the path, and then moving the rocks off that once I got enough, and digging down, and then setting them in place. And I figured during all that process, something surely is going to come to my mind, because often when I'm in the wood shop or doing something like that, my mind's kind of blank. I'm driving down the road. Thoughts just pop in. It works quite often. Dead space often works for me, but yet, nope, I got nothing. And then the only thought that popped into my mind was, this has happened a couple times with blog posts. And blog posts are just kind of a simple written version of the podcast, in where things have come across my desk through the viewfinder, email, read in a book, that just jars the memory or inspires the ideas in which to help folks move their images across. And the only thing that came across was those couple times when I've in a blog post where I went out for something very specific, and I came back with zip. I actually would post back in the old days, for those who maybe haven't been going to the website for since its creation in 1995. God, that's a long time. Um, the I would put up. I had a this big long action in Photoshop, which I checked the other day. It still works, which amazes me. Photoshop, after all this time, that action still does it. And it would take a photograph, and it would size and do everything it needs to be done for posting. And then it would put a drop shadow, then would put it on a white background, and it would make it look like a poster. And it's like 32, 33 steps. With one click, it does it all. Anyway, um, I would do that. I think I did it 3 times, and there was no photograph. It was just a white, looked like a white piece of paper mounted to a piece of white mat board that made a poster. And that always got this massive response. And most of the time, people would say, "Thanks. I thought I was the only one who would come up with nothing." And no, getting skunked or coming up with nothing is, I don't want to say it's common. It does happen. It just doesn't happen very often. Um, and in all these podcasts, and when I launched Adobe Podcast Beta today, I said I'd already recorded 460 minutes just using that. I'm like, wow, 460 minutes. You guys, you guys are just angels to listen to me ramble for that much time, plus all the other ones I did prior to this. But anyway, there are this is the first time in a podcast where I did not have that moment of thought, inspiration, aggravation, question to which to respond to help you move your photography forward. But I have the sense that maybe if you know that someone who's doing it as much as I am, this photography thing, has moments where I got nothing, it might help you realize that, yeah, if you got nothing, it's okay. It's part of the process to think that every time you think you should be doing something and you ain't, and there's something wrong with that. No, that is definitely that's part of this process. Is it a time for our clocks to get reset? Is it time for something new, creative to fall into place? Is it time when we decide to look left rather than right? I think it's all those things and much more. I just wanted to say that hey, if you ain't got nothing, don't sweat it because this week I got nothing. You folks have a marvelous, marvelous rest of Labor Day and a great week. Hope to see you in Photoshop World in class. And remember to make every click your story.